Hello, guys. Welcome back to FPL Bros. I'm FPL Rich, and I'm here with MIGS. Today, we're going to go over our Game Week 17 team selection. But before that, we're going to go over our Game Week 16 review and how we performed within Game Week 16. And also, we're going to go over some of the best players to look into the next 5 fixtures, both forwards and midfielders. Okay, so first going on to our Game Week 16 review, I managed to score 68 points for this game week. Pretty good game week in terms of how everyone performed. 68 points on a pretty good green arrow, 390,000 now. And overall, looking at my team, I didn't do the last 2 transfers that I spoke about in the last video. So I didn't take a -4. I rolled the transfer mainly for the fact that Gabriel was said that he was going to start. And so I kind of hoped that he did start, and he also started, and he got a massive 9 points. So very good as well. Also, Embuemo got 9 points. So it was very good for me that I rolled the transfer, because if I would have gone for a Enzo and a Trent Alexander-Arnold, I probably would have scored less points. But looking at my whole team, Fabianski in goal, 4 points. He was on 11 points, but of course, Aston Villa did score against them within that 1-1 draw. I did have Pickford on the bench. He did score 8 points, so pretty unfortunate. But it was more for the fact that Pickford was facing Arsenal away and a very tough fixture. No one really thought Everton was going to keep a clean sheet there. Hall, Lewis, another star player within my team, Lewis Hall, scoring a massive 15 points, a clean sheet, and 2 assists. So a very good haul from Lewis Hall. Another player on my team, I did captain Holland, I did captain Salah. He did score. He only did get an assist within that Fulham fixture, but they were down to 10 men. So overall, not a bad score for Salah, especially when a lot of managers went for that Palmer captaincy, and Salah still outscored Palmer overall. And 9 points for CUNHA. So did score a goal, but it is said that he might be on a red card. Who knows? But moving forward, this is how I. Let's move on to Mix's team.
Yeah, so now moving on to what I did for game week 15. I did 51 points. I did get a green arrow, but we're still in the 3 millions. I was looking for a better rank, but is what it is. I did have Matt Sells in goal with 2 points, and then I did bring in Timber. He did get a clean sheet, 6 points. Colwell with 2, Gabriel with 9, and Mazurai with 2. Saka 3, Mohamed Salah 5, and Cole Palmer 6. Isaac 11, Cunha 9, and Welbeck 0. And Rashford, I did have Rashford, but he didn't play in that City game, unfortunately. It's currently getting spoken about he might be being transferred out of Manchester United. So definitely wasn't a good transfer. I brought him in probably about 2 weeks ago, but now I'm thinking of getting rid of him. And yeah, and Mazurai did end up going in, but wasn't able to really do much. And then I did have my captaincy on Cole Palmer, who also didn't really do much in that Brentford win. But Isaac was able to get a goal, and I believe he got an assist as well. And Cunha with 9 points. Welbeck didn't end up playing. And yeah, this is my points for game week 16.
So now moving on to a new section here called some of the best players within the next 5 fixtures. And how are we going to determine this? By looking into the last 5 fixtures and how these players performed within their last 5 fixtures. So first, we're going to go over some of the most owned players, of course. And we're going to go over first the forwards, and then we're going to go over some midfielders. We're not going to go over some defenders because it's just too much to go over within one video. So we're just going to stick with forwards and midfielders for this one video. So first, let's look at our first forward here. We have Erling Haaland, still within my team. MIGS did get rid of him a couple game weeks ago. In his last 5 fixtures, Holland managed to score 18 points, very atrocious for the price that he is priced at. 14.9 million. So in his last 5 fixtures, also the way this goes is the red indicates that they lost a game, the green indicates that they won the game, and the gray indicates that they drew that game. So in this last 5 fixtures, City only won one of their last 5 fixtures, whereas they did lose their last three, or they did lose 3 out of the 5 fixtures, those being Spurs, Liverpool, and United, and only drew against Crystal Palace away. And Holland only scored 5 points and 7 points within one of those easier fixtures against Forest and Crystal Palace. So it does indicate that Holland does struggle, or City as a whole does struggle against those tougher fixtures. Coming up against Aston Villa in their next fixture, I think it's going to also be one of those fixtures where Holland's going to struggle. But moving forward, I'm definitely City are going to have easier fixtures up against Everton and other fixtures as well. So I am going to be sticking with Holland for me. And let's move on to the next player on this list.
Going on to the next forward on our list, we have Isak from Newcastle. They did end up winning last game against Leicester, and Isak did end up scoring big, 11 points. And even before that, even though his team lost, he did get 8 points and then 11 against Liverpool. So definitely a good player. He does have some good fixtures. He's in good form, and I do think this is a really good fixture. He got 33 points in his last 5 games and is really a player that can go out there and get some goals. But yeah, let's go on to the next player.
Okay, so moving on to our next forward here, we have Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea, and Chelsea are in exceptional form, winning 5 out of their 5 fixtures, winning 5 out of their 5 last fixtures. So all greens here. Nicholas Jackson stands right now at 29 points. Of course, he probably would have been a little bit higher. He didn't start against Southampton away, so he's on 0 points for that fixture. But if he did start, he probably would have been a little bit higher and ranked above Isak. Isak currently is our highest ranked forward. So yeah, I mean, 29 points for a forward that is in a good form, and Chelsea are also in good form. So definitely a good player to have, especially within that 8.2 price. If you're either picking within either Nicholas Jackson or Isak, is definitely Nicholas Jackson is definitely a good player to bring in to your squad. Let's move on to the next player.
Next forward we have here on the list, we have Chris Wood from Nottingham Forest. And this player, honestly, FPL Rich did transfer him out, but we would have thought that he would have been maybe slowing down a little bit. But Nottingham Forest is fighting for some of those top spots in the league, and he has still been scoring. He did end up scoring. I don't think he scored last game, but he did score up against Manchester United. He got 8 points there, and then up against Ipswich. And as a total, he did get 22 points, but definitely a player that is good up top in set pieces, could get goals with like a head, is on penalties, and definitely a player that could get some goals.
Okay, so moving on to our next forward on this list, we have Wissa from Brentford. And looking at Brentford's last 5 fixtures, they did win 2 out of the 5 fixtures, lose 2 out of the 5, and they also drew 1 out of the 5 fixtures. So in total, Wissa scored 21 points in his last 5 fixtures. Overall, pretty good in terms of scoring. Everyone in this list is pretty much outscoring Holland for the pretty much reduced price of half of what Holland is worth. So anyone here is pretty much worth more than what Holland is doing in the last 5 fixtures. Even with Brentford being a lesser side, also losing against some tough fixtures against Chelsea and Aston Villa, they did lose some good. They did win some good fixtures against Newcastle. So moving forward, Brentford, if you're moving away from either a João Pedro or a CUNHA, that a lot of managers seem to be transferring them out, Wissa might be a good transfer to replace him.
Now going on to our next forward on our list, we do have João Pedro from Brighton. And this player is 5.9. His last 5 fixtures, he did get 2 losses and then got 2 draws and then a win. He is coming back from an injury, but just in the last 2, he only got 2 points. And then before that, he did get 5, and then really good points against Bournemouth away with 12. but definitely a player to keep in mind if he doesn't start producing to possibly transfer out.
Okay, so that is it for our forwards. Let's move on to some of the midfielders on this list. First on our list, of course, we have to speak about Salah. Salah is outscoring everyone with 63 points. I think it's like better to just go with midfielders over strikers. And pretty much every midfielder on this list has outscored every striker that we have mentioned. So first on our list, we have Salah, 63 points. Out of their last five fixtures, Liverpool have won three and they drew two, their last two fixtures against Newcastle and Fulham. But even then, Salah has produced at least one goal or at least one assist within every single one of his fixtures. He did, even against Fulham, where they were down to 10 minutes, Salah still managed to get an assist. So definitely a must have if you don't have him.
Going on to our next midfielder on our list, we do have Cole Palmer from Chelsea, and this player is just ice cold. This player could turn up any game. Chelsea, as Rich said, has been on a tear, fighting for the title. But this player, as a total, last five games, did get 44 points. And just some things to note out here in that game against Tottenham, he scored 18 points. And then against Aston Villa, did score 14. And as you could see, one game up against Tottenham, he was playing away, and then Aston Villa at home. So definitely a player that could just make a tear and get some goals or an assist any game, any against anyone, honestly.
Okay, so now moving on to our next midfielder. Here we have Bukayo Saka at 10.6. His last five games, he did manage to score 39 points in total. In the last five fixtures, Arsenal have won three and drew two. So their last two fixtures, just like Liverpool, they drew their last two fixtures. And Saka in his last three fixtures has not been performing as well. He got 3 points against United, 2 points against Fulham, and 3 points against Everton. A very good probably a fixture where no one expected Everton to keep that clean sheet, and Arsenal did fail to score at least one goal. So moving forward, for me, I do see Bukayo Saka as possibly getting rid of Bukayo Saka. If within the next two fixtures he does not score, I'm possibly going to get rid of him for that Cole Palmer, where Cole Palmer is on exceptional form and Chelsea are also winning every single one of their games. But yeah, this is Bukayo Saka. Let's move on to the next midfielder on this list.
Going on to the next player on our list, we do have Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea, another Chelsea player. This player with 40 points in the last five. He has been a very crucial player for this Chelsea team, being able to get some goals, definitely, and just being a player that really produces up top for this Chelsea team. And he is, I would say, relatively inexpensive. He is at 5.1, so definitely a player that I would consider if you're maybe considering taking out like a Embuemo or someone on your like lower end. Definitely a player that you could maybe consider.
Now moving on to the next midfielder, and this is Iwobi from Fulham. Iwobi from Fulham has managed to score in his last five fixtures, 31 points. Not too bad, but Fulham did have pretty much that kind of really bad last five fixtures where they had really tough opponents. But even then, they've only managed to lose one of their last five fixtures and drew three out of the last five fixtures and also win one of their last five fixtures. So, and within those five fixtures, Iwobi has also scored and assisted within a majority of them. Of course, he did have Arsenal and Liverpool in his last two fixtures, so very tough teams to score against or produce any points against. But moving forward, he does have Southampton at home, and definitely a good option to kind of see, definitely a good option to kind of move from if you have a Embuemo, like MIGS spoke about, or maybe a Semenyo that's not producing right now.
Going on to the next midfielder on our list, we do have Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United. He did get 31 points in his last five, and this player has really been producing as of late. He didn't start the season off strong, but definitely he's on penalties. Last game he did get a penalty, got 9 points, and then against Nottingham Forest and that loss did get 9. So definitely a player that's like on set pieces, has been producing up top. Definitely a player to consider. Is 8.4, so a little bit more expensive, a little bit more consideration. But he does have Bournemouth at home next game. He does have some good fixtures. I don't know, Manchester United. They haven't they beat Man City, but Man City hasn't been doing all that well. I wouldn't say that Manchester United has fully improved yet under their new coach, but only time will tell. But definitely a player, I mean, to consider.
And now moving on to our last player on this list, we do have Ahmed, also another Manchester United player, a player that has actually outscored a majority on this, a majority on the players on this list for the fraction of the price. At 5.2, he has scored 38 points in his last 5 fixtures. Also another Manchester United player, so pretty much they've lost 2 out of their last 5 fixtures, 2 out of the last 5 fixtures, and drawn 1 of them. But every single one of those fixtures, he pretty much has scored or assisted, has gone on the score sheet, except for that Arsenal away fixture, a very tough fixture. I think he probably came off the bench. That's why it's only a 1 pointer. Every single other fixture, he did manage to score. So definitely a player that could bring you great value for that same price that Enzo is as well. So if Semenyo's not producing, definitely possibly get him in. Or if Bruno's too expensive, Ahmed is a good replacement. That concludes that section. Now we move on to our Game Week 17 transfer plan. I do have 2 free transfers and 0.9 in the bank. Some of the players that I did speak about are going to be the transfers that I have done within my transfer plans. I've already done my transfers pretty much as soon as the Newcastle game finished. I did my transfers. So the first transfer I did was getting rid of Mbuemo to Enzo Fernandez. And the main reason I did these transfers so soon was because of the price rises. Enzo was going to price rise to 5.1, and Isaac was the other player that I'm going to talk about, also price rised as well. So the reason I got rid of Mbuemo, I just needed that money to get my the second player that I did go in for. So Enzo's also on good form. We spoke about Enzo as well in the last section. He's outscored Mbuemo. So definitely a good player to possibly move away from Mbuemo. The second player that I did, the second transfer on this list is I did move away from CUNHA to an Isaac, mainly for the fact that Isaac is on exceptional form. And I just think if you don't have him, you need to you need to do something to try and get him within your squad. Coming up against Ipswich away in his next fixture, I do believe Isaac is a must-have. Also, I did go for him early as well, since he did price rise to 8.7 now. Also, CUNHA is kind of said to be possibly on the red card for the things that he did do after that Ipswich fixture, but who knows? He's possibly going to play, but I do want to move away from CUNHA, and I did that with Isaac. That's my 2 free transfers. Let's see how I'm going to line up for game week 17. So now moving on to my game week 17 team selection, I'm going to be lining up with a 3-4-3, and I do have 1.5 in the bank. So Fabianski and goal over Pickford. I'm possibly going to move with Pickford for this one. Everton are a very defensive side, as we saw against that Arsenal away fixture. The Everton played not to win, but to kind of keep that clean sheet or just not to lose. So, and West Ham also kind of are one of those sides where they do concede a lot of goals, and possibly going to move from Fabianski to Pickford for this one. But I do have Fabianski as of right now. So moving on to my back 3, I do have Gabriel, Lewis Hall, and Colwell, the same back 3 I did have last game week. My midfield 4 is Saka, Enzo, Semenyo, and Mohamed Salah. And my captaincy is currently on Salah against that Spurs away fixture. Tough fixture, but I do believe Liverpool are a very good side that can definitely beat Spurs away. Within my front 3, I do have Isaac, João Pedro, and Holland. My vice captaincy is on Isaac. Isaac, of course, has that good fixture against Ipswich away. Even I could see some people captaining Isaac for this fixture just because Salah has a tough fixture, or possibly going with that Cole Palmer captaincy again. But my captaincy does lie on Salah, since his last 5 fixtures, he's pretty much gotten at least 1 return. And that's my team for game week 17.
So now going on to my Game Week 17 transfer plan. I do have only one free transfer, and I do have 0.3 million in the bank. But my transfer that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing or taking out Marcus Rashford, and I am going to be transferring in Iwobi from Fulham. And the reason I'm going to be doing this is Marcus Rashford, he isn't playing games and he isn't getting minutes. And with Iwobi has been playing very well. He has been getting on the score sheets, and he does have some good fixtures coming up against Fulham at home. And I do like this transfer. I know maybe CUNHA is on a precautionary scenario where he might get suspended a couple games. I'll keep an eye on that. And also, I do have Danny Welbeck, who I believe is on like a knee injury or something, but he is potentially going to be back for that West Ham game. Definitely some players that I'm going to be keeping an eye out, but I'm only going to be doing one transfer for this game week. Going on to my starting lineup for game week 17, I am going to be doing a 3-4-3. I do have 1.4 million in the bank now, and I am going to be starting in goal Matt Sells. He's going to be playing Brentford away. So I am going to be playing him over Fabianski, who is going to be playing Brighton at home. I like this Nottingham Forest team. They are a strong defensive team, and I think they could possibly hold down Brentford and possibly get a clean sheet. But my back line three, I do have Timber, Gabriel, and Colwell. Unfortunately, they're all going to be playing away. I would say relatively decent fixtures. Arsenal up against Crystal Palace, and then Chelsea up against Everton away. And then my midfield, I do have Iwobi, Palmer, Saka, Mohamed Salah. And then my strikers up top with CUNHA, Welbeck, and Isak. And I do have my captaincy on Cole Palmer. I do have my vice captaincy on Saka from Crystal Palace. I might change this. I might even switch it to Salah, keep it on Palmer. I'm still a little uncertain on my captaincy, but this is how I have it as of now. And I'm hoping that CUNHA does play, Welbeck does play. If not, Mazurai will come in from the bench. My other two bench players, Greaves and Winks, haven't been playing as of late. So I know last game week I only played with 10 players, so I really need all the points so I could get a green arrow. But yeah, tell me what y'all think. Make sure to leave a comment down below.
That is all that we have for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys on next week for our Game Week 18 team selection.